Okay, just a word. If anybody talks about Pokemon Go, I'm out of here. Pokemon Go completely off limits today. Just don't talk about Pokemon Go. If I hear another word about Pokemon Go, I think I'm just gonna explode. It's Big Brother, you guys. Wake up, sheeple. It's Big Brother. I'm joking, but still, it's so suspicious. It's just, no, I'm not even gonna talk about it. I just made the rule. Just slap my hand. Okay, it's like another distraction, against working. Like these games are getting more and more grindy, more and more terrible, and it's just another reason to just not be out there. It's just another reason to not work, to not study. I think they're just these games, yeah, they have their audience, but a lot of these audience members are really dedicated to these kinds of games, and I think that's very, very, very dangerous for people who are goal oriented. If you are a goal oriented person, do not download Pokemon Go. Okay. Please, no discussion of Pokemon Go whatsoever. Um, yes. Okay, so not a lot of variety in the community. I really want to encourage people to try, some more variety and try some more landscapes, try some more colored portraits. I know that I don't encourage masterpieces, so don't assume this is me asking you guys for masterpieces, but try a couple more, a couple changes here and there in the themes that you're exploring. I saw some amazing landscape studies, and I saw some really, really great texture studies. The texture studies, let me just talk about them real quick, because they are something different that I haven't seen. Okay, so where are these texture studies? Um, So Marissa did a lot of texture studies. Where are they? Right here. And then Tran. Okay, so these texture studies really what my really good job. But the important thing is not to let the brush overtake the texture. A lot of these feel like they're made out of like some sort of really, really furry material. And that's when your texture brush takes over your rendering process. It's not a good look when the texture or the painterly style that paints away everything. Like you can't really, what painterly style really means is that you can track down a raw paint stroke. That's what painterly means. Everyone write that back to me. Painterly style means you can track down the raw paint strokes. They're very visible. You can find where they go. That's what painterly means. When you have a blended mush of different kinds of brushes, when you have a blended mush of textures, it's not painterly anymore. It just looks, look at these colors. They're so pretty. Sorry, so ADD of me. But I do have ADD. But yeah, they don't really seem like they're really encouraging the edge. The point of texture studies is that we're exploring the texture. We're exploring what the texture does. And a lot of anything that isn't organic is really, really geometric. So think about it. When something isn't curved at the edges, nature can only make it, unless it's, water erosion or something. But even then, rocks have a very distinct geometry to them. And when we're talking about rocks, there is a great deal of form study involved in these. So I'm trying to track down some of these forms here. And this is where most of your brushstrokes should have gone. So if you were working, let me just use my brush strokes here, maybe my brush set, but if you were working along these geometries, which you should have, the raw paint stroke should have been trackable along these areas. Areas in shadow do not have detail. Please write that back to me. When you are using an extended texture on a brush, this detail factor disappears. And you have all of this detail, this extensive detail just sitting there where it doesn't belong, which is in shadows. Texture brushes disrupt the detail scope, the focal scope of the detail, and disrupt one massive rule in the entire thing, which is don't throw detail where there is no light to show the detail. So an overly textured mush of brushes does not promote an accurate depiction of the sciences of a texture. If you can write that back to me, I will give you a kiss. Right now, I will actually kiss the mic. I'm joking, I'm not going to kiss the mic. Um, but right here, I'm just trying to show you exactly what I mean. The light has a, so now the textures that you had under, sorry, I got distracted, but the texture that you have underneath, um, now it seems to just come through just enough. It's not taking over the entire form. That, and an amazing part of the texture, depicting a texture, is part of the outline. And if you don't have that outline, you really don't have a texture anymore. And the point of form studies is that we're exploring all kinds of brush combinations that we're not really, like in the form study, we're exploring the form itself, the edges, all of the rules of the light source. And you can mess around with brush combinations. It's a great place to mess around with it. Like sandbox environment, very, very, very friendly to the learning and growing artist. So when we're painting something like this and the texture takes over and you no longer have all of the edges, all of the contrast, all of the detail scope, all of the focal scope, all of the radial shading, what do you have left? All you have left is a mush of different textures, just a mush of texture. This reminds me of like those makeup swatches in magazines. They just pick a bunch of makeup and they just spread it everywhere and they think it's all artsy fartsy, but that's really what it reminded me of. Even then, it still has some kind of texture to it. And right now, where the amount of contrast you had was also much, much too dark. If this was a rock that is like a little gray, it would be much lighter. It would just be generally a lighter rock. I probably shouldn't use soft brush here, but it should be a lot lighter. This way you have a separation between the z-axis and the x-axis and the y-axis, and you actually have areas that move away from the camera, and you have sculpted form. Okay, so let's see if anyone says it to me, said it properly. Painterly style means you can track down a raw paint stroke. Areas in shadow do not have detail. Painterly means you can track the raw strokes. Excellent. Areas in shadow don't have detail. Is it okay to submit traditional work, or would you prefer we stay digital? Of course you can submit traditional work. Vinny, yes you can. I ask because I'm still learning digital, but have learned a lot applying classes on traditional. Absolutely, absolutely. I encourage you to submit that. Okay. All right. So no one said it. No one said no one said the. All right. Never mind. I don't know. I forget what it was that I was supposed to reward you for, but okay. So please don't use brushes this way. Try to explore the geometry beforehand. Have the when you start the texture study, if you're using a reference, try to see if the greater form of it was like a pyramid. So the rock was like a pyramid, and then it had like a little square, just protrusion at the top, and then it had a little circular rounding at the top, but it was a little also very, very geometric. So it had like a top to it, like a cylindrical kind of curve to the top. And then this blended back down, and then obviously these aren't going to stay smooth, so they're just going to be a little jagged, and then this is obviously going to be a little bit more rounded, and this might have even more little grooves to it, and then another side. So think about the greater geometry and how the minor geometry stack on top of it. It will guide your brush. Even at the most textured brush, it will guide it around appropriate edges. This way we're really working along believable edges. Once you find out, listen here, listen, everybody listen. Once you find this side of the cube, this side, you'll know where to place the light. You'll know that these are all areas that look up at the light source. And once you know that the light is coming from this direction and these are touching, then we have cast shadows just moving across. Beautiful cast shadows. Just moving away from the light source. If you can make a diagram out of the form in your brain or even on your canvas, it will guide your brush a lot better. It will make sure that your brush, even at the most textured kind of brush, the most rogue, crazy, uncontrollable, wild kind of brush, it will still be guided around real geometry. So don't allow, in your texture studies, do not allow the overuse of um, crazy stamp textures that come out of, some crazy brushes, because they will not help you develop a form structure. Make sure that you're guiding those brush strokes along a real geometry, a real science, and remember everything in diagrams. Okay, so let me see what everyone's saying. No, it's okay. No sorries. No. Um, because it's a confusing name for people who don't speak Portuguese. How do you say it? Vinicius? Is that how you pronounce your name? Probably. Okay. So that's out of the way. Textures, just remember all of that about textures, please. Next up would be just a common problem that I'm seeing between portraits. Class might be a little short today because, again, there wasn't much variety. I don't want to keep repeating the lessons or keep talking about the same old thing. The more variety you guys submit, the more variety that we get in the videos. But I wanted to talk about this eyebrow right here. Please be careful with this kind of eyebrow. This eyebrow is very symbolic. Cruella de Vil, what's her name? Ursula kind of eyebrow. And when we use this kind of eyebrow, really what we're saying is that we're using that symbol that eyebrow came from, which is that evil character. Trust me when I tell you that these symbols are out there. They've been used by cartoonists and by animators and by artists for years. And we can't just undo probably like 500 years of art and art symbols, or art symbology or whatever. And when we're trying to depict a character that is evil, cruel, with evil intent, we try to make their eyebrows very, very expressive. When we have a frowning eyebrow, there's a lot of expression invested into eyebrows. If you've ever seen or studied expression, you'll know that the eyebrows really carry the expression. And when we're trying to represent a character that has deep evil thoughts, the eyebrow is always used. It's not just because of the villain that they use it. It's because that villain needs to be exaggerated just a little bit more. So, Jafar. All right. Jafar's got those eyebrows right here. Ursula. All right. Same eyebrows. She's got them. Cinderella mom. All right. Well, damn it. Cinderella. Disney stepmother. Okay. She's got those eyebrows too. Because they have a lot of work to do. These eyebrows have a lot of work to do. They're trying to show that she's evil, she's conniving, she's up to something. And it's almost demonic expressions that she has in the image. Her eyebrows are they still work along a realistic proportion, but we just simply don't use these eyebrows. And when we do, they have to be used with purpose. Let's find something that's non-Disney that's used these eyebrows. Gosh, I can't come up with these at the top of my head. Well, I did come up with these, but I don't know. Just a lot of characters. Something non-Disney. Just so that Disney is the epitome of the animation world and the animation discipline, but especially for character design. But if we think about maybe something more modern. I hate the word fleek. Damn, fleek. I'm trying to find the name of that recent animated movie. Dang it. Okay. Kung Fu Panda 3. 3, Evil guy. Evil Kai? No, not Evil Kai. This guy's a joke. He was not. Kung Fu Panda 2. Evil Peacock. Yes. Where is he? Come on. They kind of use those eyebrows here. But he was an animal, so they couldn't really mess around too much. But these eyebrows are definitely used here. I'm trying to find a close-up of when he really talks. There we go. You see how these eyebrows are used? So we really can't have this massive extended arc unless we mean something by it, unless we're trying to express it. It kind of also made her look a little bit old. That and the fact that the skin is really, really orange, which I'll correct in a second, but they were just a little bit old feeling because they were too light at the same time, so it was hard to track down how thick the eyebrows were. So thin arched eyebrows, you just don't use them unless you really want to draw a villain. So a lot of the League of Legends champions are villains. So Evelyn, I don't know how to spell her name. Evelyn, League of Legends. Evelyn. Eve and then Lynn. Okay. I think she does have these eyebrows. I'm not entirely sure. I think she does. Yes, she does. She has those eyebrows most definitely. It just gives her an evil look. You just have to use it. What if they accidentally use these eyebrows on a character like Nami or a character like the one with the banana? It just would not read as a peaceful nymph, beautiful nature elf character, Soraka, right? We can't use these kinds of symbols on their face. So just read what's happening here. Glowing evil eyes. Where did we just see that? We just saw that on the evil stepmother. The eyebrows, the smirk. Yeah, she can still be beautiful, but she's just gutting someone right now. So when we use these symbols here, she is supposed to look evil, this girl, and we'll talk about her in a second. But this one here just looked kind of like peaceful, kind of like one of the star stormtrooper soldiers in some sort of space opera. And I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry that I assume these things, but I'm just trying to push the narrative. Color. I'm going to grab some of her hair colors. This is another thing that you want to think about. When we're choosing hair color, how to make it match the skin. This hair color does not match the skin for many reasons. It looks like it's out of a different light source situation, like it's from a different magazine. And you use magazine cutouts. So what I'm doing is I'm actually getting a color layer, getting the color of her hair, and just brushing it on her skin. I'm going to exaggerate that even more around the hairline. If you want to make skin look like it belongs to the same hair, or make them belong to each other, the hairline is where you start. Also, that color, I'm just going to toss it right over the eyebrows. The eyebrows were much too red. Another reason why she looked just a little bit old is because her inner corners were sagging instead of pointed up. So another principle of beauty that we can't ignore no matter what we do is one of these. We just can't have these kinds of eyes. It has to be with purpose. There are eyes that look just like this in the real world by real people, but we're not painting real people. We're painting pretty much caricatures. And, they're not exaggerated characters, but every character we draw really is pulls from some sort of animation, pulls from some sort of cartooning background. Alright, I'm just going to balance these inner corners, keep this tilted, keep the eyes spherical. The best way to measure whether or not the eyes you've drawn are spherical is just to push in the inner corner just like that. Okay, so before, after. I might have pushed the corners in too much because I had already pushed them in. Alright. So, let's just take a look at the before and after from here. Before, after. So the eyebrows really had no place. It was like she had an evil thought in her mind. But that evil thought, she was trying really, really hard not to let people see that she had that evil thought. Actors, when they have an evil thought that they're trying to show they have, will do that with their eyebrows and kind of tilt their head down and have that evil look. Because when you're thinking about evil things, it'll show on your face. If you're thinking about gutting someone, it'll definitely show on your face. So the color on the highlight, the color on the skin, has to be a different color. So I'm just going to go up into whites, go up into the color, and just brush that white, that actual white, grayscaling basically all the areas that the light touches. Because at this point, I'm not using all of it, I'm at 18%. It's not going to go full grayscale. But it is going to introduce the presence of the light source in the image. So her expression looks as soft as what I think you intended. She has less of that aged look, a little bit more soft. And that's what those evil eyebrows do. They make everything look very jagged, very evil, very geometric, and not so curved, feminine, and organic. um, the high arc makes for a menacing look. Yes, it does. All female Dota heroes have them. um, you can track down all kinds of Overwatch characters. Let's say evil Overwatch female. I don't even know any of the Overwatch characters, but the evil ones, like it's just an evil conniving bitch. If the character design is good, I don't know. They might not even be using decent character designs, but I mean, if they all have that like zoned out Korean doll look, then I can't really help you guys right now. Like a really evil one, something like an Evelyn or like the Snake Lady. Is Evelyn the Snake Lady? No, the Snake Lady from Riot, from League. I don't know. I can't seem to. Is she supposed to be evil? I don't know. They all seem to be very, very happy people. None of them seem to have any evil thoughts in their minds. I don't know. Maybe you guys have a suggestion. Widowmaker actually doesn't have those eyebrows. Fourth row, red hair. Fourth row, red hair. Yeah. Is that her though? Is that the same character? I mean, yeah, the eyebrows are there. They all just look like dolls. Those actual really cute looking dolls on DeviantArt. That's it. I don't know. I don't play much Overwatch, so I don't have any good examples for you from there. But that's all I have to say about that eyebrow. There are many other issues in this painting. The edge is a very powerful thing to use in a face. You have an edge around the lips sharper than you do around the nose. This is a real geometric edge here. The fact that the nose doesn't connect to the cheek on screen, it connects off screen. This should have a sharper edge than the lip itself, which does connect on screen. In fact, there is like a natural tapering, even with lipstick on, that happens around the lips, just on the edges. This is way, way too dark. So please don't over edge out your lips. It doesn't look right to have that clean and sharp and crazy of an edge and not have the nose have an equivalent edge around it. You seem to have completely omitted the lower half shadow, that sweeping lower half shadow that happens on the face. So darken the beard shadow that I refer to. You've completely omitted it. Normal. Okay. So this needs to happen definitely, and we're going to only erase around areas that really need the light, because that part of the face needs some light, needs some shadow. And what we've done here is we've kind of removed that whole concept of the fact that the head is a real object in a real space, just by itself without any extra features. And before, after, you seem to have like an outline around the lips, which happens, like this milky outline, and it doesn't match the face at all. And then lighten and make sure that the sides of the nose are not as illuminated as the brow bone, the shadow of the brow bone. And the only way really we can make the sides of the nose, I mean the nose itself, feel like it's elevated is by using a highlight. I think I need to redo all my how to draw a nose, how to draw a lip, how to draw an eye videos. I need to redo them all and update them and just have these new ones out, because that, one, I've learned more, and two, I feel like I've learned more and I've learned how to teach better than I did before. So I might be able to help you guys out there. Now I don't feel confident enough to refer people to my older videos, because I feel like they don't have all of my recent teachings in them. I will be releasing a book on portraiture and the generals of form, probably the specifics of form, not just somewhat general anymore. But until then, I think I'll just have to update all my videos. Cheekbones, and then the on switch right here. Grab the highlight on the hair, just unify it with the face. That purpley highlight, really it will work if you use it to unify the face. Just like that. So before, after. Now the skin really feels like it's connected to the face. And that blush color, you didn't have to go to orange or red. You can use a purple. Let's go to that pastel purple that you have in her hair and kind of make it just a little bit more organic by pushing it toward the reds. But it would still be purple. Take a look at what it does if we use that instead. And use it on the lips as well. It'll feel like her whole organic, like her whole, genetic palette is cool leaning. Her skin will feel more involved with the rest of her face. The rest of her head, sorry. I'm going to just desaturate this so that purple can come out. It's a very, very warm purple compared to the other purples that we can use. So before, do you see what I mean? How those eyebrows age her? She looks very evil. And not just that, you've disconnected the eyebrow from the eye in two ways, the arc and the fact that the eyes were downturned. We need to raise those the corners back up and just soften the face. And now she looks like she's one of the female protagonists of a space opera that doesn't look like she has evil intent. If she did have evil intent, there's a lot of other things you're going to have to update to make her feel evil. First, the smile. You're going to have to make her have less of the protagonist. You know how in the animes, the protagonist always has the best hair? Not the best hair, just the weirdest hair, but she's got very unique hair to her. So I wouldn't give that kind of unique hairstyle to the antagonist. I would definitely give it to the protagonist. The antagonist has a very specific set of templates they have to follow. She didn't feel like an antagonist. She felt like a protagonist with accidental antagonist symbols used on her creation process. So flatten. I just ease that up here. Okay, so does anyone have any questions? I just need to show that this is of a different moisture level so that the T-zone in the face, which is this area here, has more spikes to it, moisture level wise. Okay, but good job on the nose, good job on the lips, lots of symmetry, very, very good job. This is basically how you take a 14-day challenge into a portrait. You just start experimenting with your character design and dress up your portfolio with something completed if you want to get hired early. This is basically your next step, is just to get some character design aspects going, turn it into a full body, turn it into a full character design, and it'll feel, you'll feel that much closer to your goal. Her neck is a little bit long. Yeah, it might have lengthened because you've used both the choker or the turtleneck as well as wanting to show just a little bit of neck. Yeah, it does definitely feel long in the silhouette. So what is the specific set needed to achieve antagonism? To create the antagonist, I made a whole video theme series about the villain. And if you guys can just track those down in my video history, you'll find it there. But really the villain is all about the comparing them, superimposing the skeleton's image on top, so the skull. So shadier eyes, lots of shadows in the eyes, that really, really angry brow bone. So yes, the arc has to be really, really high because all skeletons look angry. Really, really deep set cheeks. Even if it's a heftier villain, he still has these really, really bony cheekbones. Unless he's some sort of monster. The monster and the villain are two completely different things. The monster can just have all kinds of shit, but if we're talking an intelligent villain, the opposite, the complete opposite of the antagonist, which is, let's just look up the Joker, greatest villain of all time in my opinion. And every time he's there, there's always that skeletal overlay of the skeleton of the skull from the comic books. Just a skeleton, really, just an actual happy skeleton, representative of death and chaos and anarchy, which is the opposite of Batman. In a way, they kind of overlap a lot. Anyways, it's not a comic book course. So those are the changes for this one. But if you do want more specifics on the villain and see how others have managed to design a villain, you can just go into the history of my videos and you'll find a lot of the villain talk over there waiting for you. So this looks like what Overwatch should have been doing, which is actually make their characters feel like they're antagonists. I don't think they give a rat's ass about storyline, and I don't think they ever had a story. I think they just published that whole shit just to make money. They brought a best of both worlds: characters, boobs, pinup, and first-person shooters. I'm sorry for you Overwatch fans. Um, but I really like the edge work here. It's really cute. I do wonder if is she supposed to be evil because she does look evil. All right, so that's it. That's just, she looks evil. That's it. That's all it is. Either evil or staring down her enemy, who she is the protagonist, or protagonist. I'm sorry, I'm just all over the place. Protagonist, but she's about to kick her enemy's ass. But even then, this little thing, this little batwing kind of evil witch look eyebrow is still pushing the evil factor. She doesn't look like has a righteous story ahead of her, or has a righteous uh, journey or adventure to destroying the evil of her enemy. She looks more like, or she's just about to hit him, and they're doing a face-off, and he kind of got to be cocky a little bit before the face-off, during the face-off or before the fight. She just looks evil. It just looks like evil for the sake of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you the difference between the two, and you tell me which one looks more evil. Okay, so let's make it as if she is just, like a determined face, like a determined anger. All right. All right, she still looks tough. So determined anger versus just evil personified. Let me get rid of the edits that I did on the website. Alright, so before, after. Evil but with intent. I mean evil and with intent, and just angry but determined. That's how strong that eyebrow is. That eyebrow does so much for your character. It really changes everything. Okay? So be careful. When you're designing characters, don't just, I feel like drawing a crazy eyebrow today. Know that it will give off that feeling. And it's not strong in your design power. It's not strong for you as the artist to have that kind of accidental design. That eyebrow. It's, oh, that was crazy. I hurt myself. Yeah, to accidentally design a character doesn't represent a strong design force behind you. All right? There's something about the smile as well that makes it look evil. Yes, the skeleton, the skull, the human skull, the smile goes all the way to the ears because there's no more skin hiding the sides of the jaw. So when someone smiles in a very uncanny length, uncanny width, that's when it kind of feels a little bit evil because, again, we're superimposing the skeleton on top. There's also her dark circles. Do you see these dark circles? This is another thing that you can do to a villain to make them more villainous, is to give them that dark circle under their eyes, to make it seem like they've lost sleep and they've just been, thinking of ways to kill their enemy. Another massive villain signature is the sunken in cheek. Alright. So before, do you see now how much of a villain she looked like? And after. Maleficent almost is what I was seeing. Maleficent Disney. Images. Exactly the same kind of eyebrow, the same kind of smile, that glowy yellow eye. Very beautiful though, very gorgeous, but that evil is still there. Always looking like they're thinking about something and they're finding ways to smite their enemy. Okay? So, before, after. Now she looks like she's a determined, angry, determined, angry. It doesn't really look like she's up to something. She might just be the mean chick in some sort of chick flick. Just might be the mean bitch, but she's definitely not the evil cow. Okay? She's not like the evil, I'm gonna make sure you get murdered by this person, or I'm gonna steal the throne and make you live in a dungeon for the rest of your life kind of evil. It's just that I'm gonna totally become prom queen, and you're not kind of evil. Gonna fix her eyebrows just a little bit more, make them a little less angry. So determined anger and just pure evil. All right, I see this issue a lot with a lot of your work, and it'd be nice if you guys just designed a villain and intentionally design one, instead of it being an accidental stumble into the villain. You accidentally stumble into villain land and you don't realize you've been designing villains for the last 3 days. Just lost my voice. Any questions? Yes, you should study the skull endlessly. It will help you so much with the cheekbones. Yes, it will. Learning where the actual dense geometry or the densities are under all that fat and skin guides your brush a lot better, and knowing where to blend and where not to blend. Istebrak, I always have a question about the cheekbones. When I paint them, it always ages my characters a lot. Do you have any tips? If it's a younger person, make sure there is a wider gradient. If it's an older person, usually the cheeks are sunken in. If you're doing crazy sunken in cheeks, that along with accidental laugh line deepness or lower eye, dark shadows, dark circles, all of that really goes into making your character look older. But if it's just the cheekbones that are making them look that much older, I think it's because you're, one, using a really dark shade, so don't use a dark shade, and don't use such a deep, don't paint such a deep cheekbone. Make it a little bit more subtle, a little bit more feminine, and round it out. Yeah, I don't really like to even get into a discussion about it because I'm so salty about it, but the character design is admirable. I'm sorry, what are you salty about? Oh, because of the superhero films. Okay. Okay. I think that's it for today. That Maleficent Contempt eyes are so cool. Yes, they are. Yeah. It's really a template that the animators have used. It reads. You can tell where the evil guy is and where the good guy is. It's a very quick read. Animators need that quick read. Movies need that quick read. You don't just remember when the Little Mermaid gets replaced by that dark-haired chick, which was Ursula in disguise. You can tell it was Ursula if you had just started the movie halfway and had never seen the movie before, because the way they did the eyebrows on that evil on the evil Ursula. You can tell she was evil, pretty Ursula images. Because just from what they did with the eyebrows, you can tell she was evil. She wasn't just flirtatious. This bitch was up to something. And the rest of it is just fan art. But, yeah, just the eyebrows. They kept them there. Okay. Where else? Anything else? Right here. Just a lot. This is not just one character trying to open a jar of pickles that she can't open and she's kind of just laughing to herself about it. This is someone who's gutting a man. Probably cutting his dick off. Okay? This too. Be careful with the eyebrows that you use in your characters. Oh, oh, oh. Community. Okay. That's a whole other ball game right there. Well, the class has come to a close. I'll probably look at these next time. Wait to ruin the Little Mermaid for me is the way to ruin. Oh, and someone from the community told me that the colors are looking off, but I actually know. I actually don't know why. Can you give me a tip? The colors don't seem off to me at all. Her face does look a little bit pale, and her skin doesn't really match the hair. What you can do to unite the skin with the hair even more, again, same exact issues. The issues don't really change between artists. They're all seem to be at the same level. Is just bringing in some of the hair color in there. The skin and the hair seem to be from different rooms, and the hair being so bright will reflect onto the skin in the areas that it is closest to. So some of that orange can sit in the shadows or the sides of the face, wherever the hair hangs around. It will make it feel like the hair is involved. um, that's really it. I feel like the lips should be a little bit more warm. Just again, so just so that you can unite the colors together. And the hair should be whiter on the highlights. It should be a whiter color on the highlights because the light source throws its color on objects as well as its brightness. I feel like that would make everything look a little bit softer. So before, after. Determined anger and very, very, very evil. The stream is lit. I'm sorry that I put that image in your minds. That's what it looked like she was doing. I mean, after she took everything, she'd probably just cut his dick off, done a crazy spell. He would have become Lord Varys, and she would have just ruled the kingdom as the one true queen of Westeros. Istebrak, how do I do eyes so that they aren't so round yet they're still spherical? I'm still kind of struggling with that. Just make sure that the corner is just a little bit stretched. So purely spherical eyes tend to look really overly realistic, and you no longer have the anime hybrid, is what I think you're saying. You kind of want the anime hybrid. So this is anime hybrid right here. This isn't full realism. And the way to do that is just to make sure that you have that elongated look. So they are spherical. They're not spheres. If you want that pure realism, you're going to have to push in the corners just a little bit more. I know this isn't the artist here, but just having that change. Wait, so I deleted the liquefy? What just happened? Okay. Why didn't it? Oh! Oh, okay. So yeah, right here. Okay. So before. Damn it. Before. Okay. And then after. What? Oh, after. No. After? Because this shit keeps turning on. Alright. So, spherical. You don't have to have it perfectly sphered, just like any other human eye would be. Sometimes makeup plays a big role in it. So try to let the makeup do the job of elongating the eye and giving you that anime hybrid. Over here, a lot of the makeup is stretching the eye out, but the eye doesn't look like some sort of anime eye, right? It's kind of just the makeup that adds that extra length to it, and this little bit here. But the eye still is just a little bit stretched. So you can stretch it for that hybrid look. Just don't overdo it. And that's it. Thanks everyone for watching. Have a great day, guys. Bye bye.